Welcome to Breaking Limitations Show with our host, Joyce Marendes. We are here to empower, equip, and promote. Let us discover your superpower.
Hi, guys. How are you? Happy Tuesday. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the Breaking Limitations Show. As you all know, my name is Joyce Marendes, and I am your host here on today. And I am excited on today. So if you guys can go ahead and just log in and invite different people so that we can be able to have a wonderful lunch session, go ahead and do that, and then we'll be able to start shortly. So, and Jacinta, are you able to see on your end? It's, you know how we have to make sure technology is working right. So so I'll go ahead and I'll just make sure I can check through and see. So is it live on? Okay, so we do see a few people logging in. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I see it. Okay. Good. So, guys, thank you so much for logging in. Go ahead and keep inviting people. Keep inviting people so that we can be able to have this session. As you all know, my name is Joyce Marendes. I'm the host for the Breaking Limitations Show. Our mission here is to empower, to equip, and to promote individuals to discover their superpower. And so today I'm excited to have one of our special guests here on today that I'll be able to introduce shortly. So go ahead and share this information in the different groups and with the different settings, because I don't want you guys to miss. I have actually missed having this. I've missed having being on the show because just different things have been going on. We've been so busy doing so many different things. So I'm excited to be here on today. So thank you guys for logging in. I can't see who you are on my end, but I'm gonna try and see if I'll be able to see that, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. And so today I'm excited to have one of my special guests. As you all know, I've been promoting this new program that I started. It's called Discover Your Superpower, and it's geared towards empowering people, especially empowering women, to be able to discover their own superpower, for them to be able to know that there's something within them that they can, that there's a gift within them, and it's just waiting to be realized. And so today I have a special guest. I'll let her introduce herself. Her name is Jacinta Wangechi, and Jacinta is located in Nairobi, Kenya. And she has so many. She's young. She has a lot of many great qualities, and she's doing an amazing work. And so I'll go ahead and just give you a little bio about Jacinta. So Jacinta is she's the founder of the Nyariri scented candles. She's also an aspiring author and a toxic relationship coach. And she also loves dogs. So for all those dog lovers out there, Jacinta is with you. She loves dogs. And so I'll go ahead and just give her a few minutes to just introduce herself and just tell us a little bit about yourself before we continue to the next session. Go ahead, Jacinta.
So you've actually pretty much said everything.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm Jacinta Wangechi. I'm not that young. I'm on the third floor. So I'm not that young. Not that I'm in my third floor is when I know it's not also that old, because when I was in my 20s, I thought everybody who is in the third floor is older. And I'm a mom of 3. And yes, I'm the founder of Nyariri Scented Candles, and I'm an aspiring author. I have a book that will be launching sometime early next year. And yeah, I'm a toxic relationship coach. I love dogs, like we said. I have Maltese that I love very much. So yeah, I'm a farmer and a mom as well. Yes, thank you for having me.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. For us here, I'm in Texas, so for us here, this is lunchtime for us, but You guys in Kenya, it's evening. So I know this,
Yeah.
especially this is a busy time because especially if you have kids, this is a time when they're trying to get dinner, they're trying to do different things. But thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. And
Mhm.
so, like I said, I just want to go ahead and acknowledge a few people who have logged in. We have Lynette who's here with us. We have Pendo who's here, and let me see. I can see people have logged in. I just can't see their names. So unfortunately, because StreamYard sometimes doesn't let us see everybody. And so and we're also live on YouTube. So for people who are not able to who don't want Facebook, they can also follow us on YouTube. We are also live on YouTube. And so today we want to talk about discovering your superpower. For those who've been following me for a while, who know what I'm about, we love to talk about I love talking about breaking limitations because a limitation is anything that is stopping you from doing what you've been called to do. A limitation is anything that's stopping you from moving forward in your assignment or moving forward in your God-given potential. And so when I talk about breaking limitations, we basically just talk about, we give you strategies on how to be able to overcome anything that you've been through and how to be able to, we give you strategies and we send people over who can give you encouragement and ideas and all that kind of stuff so that you can be able to break any limitation that you have. And then, hi, Ruth, good to see you. So you can be able to break any limitation that you have. And so right now I have a program that I started in 2022 called Discover Your Superpower. And this is a program that's geared towards empowering people, letting everybody know that you are created with a superpower within you. A lot of times when we hear about superpower, we think of, I don't know about you, I think of Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, all those different things that we think about when we think of superpowers. But everybody has a superpower. And so the class is geared towards having people who letting everybody know that they have a superpower, especially women, because sometimes we go through so many things and we just think that this is all life has to offer, and so we don't dig deep to even find out exactly what we have. So today we're going to talk a little bit about that. So um for me, of course, I'm in the US, and Jacinta is in Kenya, and we met online. So you want to tell people a little bit how we met?
Yeah, I can share that story, which is very, very and very crazy too, because I'd say that I stumbled upon everything that happened to connect us.
Mm-hmm,
I was going through a phase of my, actually, I'd say that it's divine power. I do believe in God. I do believe in divine interventions.
mm-hmm,
And I think that everything that has happened in my life has been one or the other aligning. I've met the right people. I've met sisters that I never knew I would meet who have become such a huge part of my life, like you. There's Lynette, and there is another bunch that I came to meet at the exact time of my life when my life was taking a totally different turn. It was in a coaching program.
mm-hmm,
And by the time that I was starting this coaching program, I had no idea there was anything like coaching. I had no idea what it really meant. I didn't even know that I was supposed to be a coach personally. I actually joined the program to learn how to maneuver the online space so that I could promote my scented candles business.
mm-hmm,
But as do I say luck or divine intervention will have it, it
mm-hmm,
actually became a totally whole new journey for me. And I'm
mm-hmm.
so grateful for meeting everyone, you, Lynette, Cecilia, so many people. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, and it's so funny because that the class we are taking now with Jane Mukami, who's our coach, she's our mother now in in business. I don't know that she's online, but yes. So we've learned a lot in the class, and that's how we got to connect. And so I want to encourage everybody that if you want to learn, like, don't be afraid to take a class. Don't be afraid to sign up for a class where you'll be able to grow yourself, where you'll be able to empower yourself. Because I think sometimes and I was talking with someone yesterday, and we're talking about how sometimes we look at money and say, you know what, let me use this money to buy this, or let me use this money to go on vacation, or let me use this money to do this. But the best investment you will ever make is investment in yourself, because as you invest in yourself, then you're able to actually expand your life, you're able to grow your life, you're able to become you're able to maximize yourself. Can you imagine if you had never signed up for the class, you wouldn't even have known that you're able to become a coach, and you wouldn't even be able to know that you have so much to offer, because sometimes we
Definitely.
don't even know what we have to offer until we realize that, oh, I can actually help people with my experience and with the things that I've been able to overcome. So I'm really thankful that we were able to connect. And so I also see we have Lynette says, I'm so proud of you. And then also we have Esther, Pastor Esther also, she's watching from Kenya. We have Sarah saying, I'm here now. So guys, keep inviting people so that they don't miss out on this great session that we are having. And so today I wanted us to talk a little bit about, just tell us a little bit about you. How did you grow up? Because when I look at you, I see this beautiful, amazing woman, and I'm like, whoa, she looks like she's never faced anything. She's never gone
Oh.
through anything and all. So tell us a little bit about you. How
I'm
did you?
blushing when you say this very beautiful woman, and
Yes.
as another lady would say, my namesake Jacinta Sublime, say that we should be very comfortable receiving compliments. Now I say
Yes.
thank you.
Yes, yes, you should be comfortable and just say thank you. Yes, this was
Yeah.
thank you.
Sometime back, I would never know how to answer that, so I'm still on the learning process and appreciating it when people say it.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Hmm.
So my journey has not been a walk in the park, just like
Hmm.
most women, I would assume.
Hmm.
I was married when I was quite young. I got married when I was 19.
Wow.
That was like immediately, I think, an year after I left high school in Kenya.
Hmm.
So, and that was a time in my life where I can say I've had major life diversions. That is when
Hmm.
diversion number one took place, because I was only 19. I had big plans. I was supposed to go study in the US.
Hmm.
And here I am, and I discover I'm pregnant and I'm 19. So what
Wow.
do? You get married, because I
Mm-hmm.
had a very, very tough upbringing. My dad was a very strict father, and right now I appreciate the upbringing. But now that I have rediscovered more, I know there are other ways that this could have been handled better. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so the only choice back then, when you're in a tough position and you don't know if there are other options, you only take the available option. And for me, it was get married. And despite it all, the man that I had in my life was very supportive, and so I didn't see the issue. It was like when you're 19, you're in love. So I was in love. And I got married at 19. At 20, I was there with my first child. When everybody else
Wow.
is in campus, clubbing and studying, I'm here with my daughter, and I'm 20.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say pretty much got married when I was so young, and I didn't know whom I was, and I never even sat down to think about it until way later. And you can imagine coming from your dad's house to your partner's house. So you're coming from being a daughter to being a wife and a mother. You don't
Mm-hmm.
know who Jacinta really is. And I only got to discover who Jacinta is after I got to see who I don't want Jacinta to be. And this was after a
Oh.
whole bunch of so many crazy things happening in my marriage. And I think I've spoken a lot about it through my post, or I speak a bit of it, but I was in a very toxic relationship that was abusive, emotionally, physically, verbally, in all other aspects, which
Mm-hmm.
really left me drained. And it's now triggered my self-rediscovery journal, which the rest of the story is actually captured a bit of it in my book, in my
Mm-hmm.
upcoming book
Mm-hmm.
that I will be releasing sometime early next year. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was quite a journey, and it still is. I'm not where I'd want to be, but I'm in a fairly better place.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And
Yes.
that's something that's really, really important. Like guys, when you listen, you hear how just how we were brought up, especially if you're brought up like in Kenya and all that, we didn't really have a lot of options. We didn't even know that there were options. The options were there, we just didn't know about them. When we've been told, because a lot of people who got if you got pregnant, you're just told, okay, you have to get married to the guy who made you pregnant. And sometimes that guy might not be the guy for you, or it was just, it was a one night thing that happened and you got pregnant. And so you're being made to readjust your whole life to be with this person. And if you're in that situation, I want you to know that there are other options. Don't just go for the first options. There are several other options. So just go ahead and talk to somebody, talk to a coach, talk to another a leader or someone, so that you can be able to get to know what options you have available. And then and something else that I liked that you said was you didn't even know who you are, but you just now during the relationship you got to discover who you don't want to be. Because a lot of
Exactly.
times, even with my program, when we talk about discover your superpower, we are actually focusing on you discovering you. Because if you don't know you, then you will surprise yourself.
That's for sure.
Yeah, because a lot of times, like I was listening to something, because I'm always listening to different messages, different teachings, and all that. And one of the things was saying the most important thing in life is yes, you need to know God. But the second most important thing is you need to know yourself. Because when you don't know yourself, you will think that there are some things that can never touch you. You'll think that I can never do this, or I'm strong enough for this, only for life to teach you a lesson. So it's very important to take time to know yourself. And even as we are getting close to the end of the year, when we are doing this teaching on like discovering your superpower, it's one of the things we focus on a lot, because we want you to be able to know you, so that once you know you, then you'll be able to know what you can do, what you cannot do, what your strength is, what you need to strengthen, what's your weakness, and create a life that is that has good boundaries, and you have good follow-up and different things that can help you throughout your journey. So I'll go ahead and I see with Fancy is here. She says, Jacinta, thank you for sharing your story. So Fancy is one of the people, we're all in the same class together also. So awesome. Thank you for logging in. And so when you got married and you had your first child, did you think maybe it was time to go to college, or did you think maybe it's time to do, think to continue from where you had dropped off? Because now you had the baby. So, so what was your thought process after that?
Actually, the crazy part is, and I know most women also struggle with this, when you get married, you change your focus and you concentrate on your family. And that is what I
Mm,
did. I dropped all my dreams, all my aspirations, everything that was anything to do with the past me. I just left it there and I concentrated. I'm now a wife. I'm now a
mhm,
mom. So it was now me and my then partner and my daughter. I did
mhm,
feel like I still had the passion to go back to school, but it
mhm,
always felt like I will be somehow taking away my daughter's time. Like I made a
mm,
decision, and this is my decision to become a mother. Like I shouldn't be going back to school and denying her the right of being with her mother. And looking back, then that was my understanding, and because that was what I was limited to knowing, and even what people around me told me. But now that I see women and other ladies going back to school and still doing it, and right now my youngest daughter is 1 year and I'm still juggling, and they're three, I'm still juggling school. I still went back to school right now when I'm in my 30s is when I'm deciding to go back to school again. And I still have my job and I still have my children. And right now, I have seen a very huge difference according to where I am in life and who I'm hanging out with. I see that I can be able to juggle it. Why? Because a lot changed. Who I was hanging out changed. My mindset changed. Yeah, that's
Wow.
something that
Mhm.
I came to
And
realize.
yes, and I see even Pastor Beulah says that a lot of women also feel that way. They feel that once you have a child, then you
That
should be
is it.
devoting your whole life to the child. And we're going to talk a little bit about that because that's something that I think as women, we are so nurturing. So when we have our own, we want to nurture them to the best of our abilities. But we also have, we forget sometimes that we are also individuals, and we are individuals who are created with a purpose. We are individuals who are created with goals. Regardless of whether you have a child or not, you are here on earth to fulfill a purpose. And when you don't fulfill that purpose, there'll be a part of you that will always feel like you're not fulfilled all the way. And so what we have to learn is to be able to marry every part of our lives, to allow that, okay, I have the children, but I can also I can take care of the children, and I can also pursue that thing which fulfills me. Because a lot of times we focus so much on the children, and then now we end up putting also pressure on the children to fulfill that part of us, that because we didn't fulfill our own dreams. And
That
so
is
that's why
true.
sometimes you can find a parent, you want your child maybe to go for ballet. Your child doesn't want to do ballet, but you force them to go for ballet because that's what you wanted to do, or swimming, or all these extracurricular activities that we try to force them to, we might want our kids to do, that our kids don't really care about. And so it's important for us to just take time and know that it's okay to pursue your life, it's okay to pursue your dreams and raise your children. All you have to do is manage your time and try to find balance in that. And
Absolutely. I totally agree.
mhm. Yes, and so you said that so when you started taking care of your kids, and so now you have three, and and also so at that time, were you working, or were you a housewife, or what were you doing?
I actually took care of my daughter for 2 good years. I
Mm,
was being a first time mom. I'm confused. I've not
mm,
gone to anybody's college. I don't have
mhm,
any skills. I felt
mhm,
limited. I
mm,
felt so limited. And so the only thing was but it wasn't, I think from a very, since back then, I've never been the sort who just sits back and waits. I've always been somebody who has been driven, because I remember from there, my first job was actually to hawk. This is what most people don't know about
to
me.
who?
Yeah,
Oh,
I got my then partner to agree to this, because I could be able to go work with him, but I really wanted first to be totally independent
mm-hmm,
in my business and to do me. So what I
mm,
did, I agreed to, there was a company that used to sell, this time you're talking about sometime in 2013 or 2014,
mm,
and they were selling stoves. I don't know whether you have stoves over there, the kerosene stoves, and they
mm-hmm,
also had thermoses, such. So
mm-hmm,
here's what my idea was. And my idea was I should go around looking for orders. I would walk up to wholesalers and these guys who are at the market, and I would actually make orders. My catch was, and this is something that now I look back and I'm like, I was really good.
right.
I
I'm
would
like,
tell them,
wow, you are a salesperson.
Yeah, because I would promise them delivery. So what I will do, I remember like going to Githurai. Githurai at the roundabout down there where there's a line. They used to, I don't know whether right now they're still there, but they used to be like a whole line of these guys who would sell such things,
Mhm.
and I would walk up to them, and I knew they used to get them from Kamukunji market. So what I would promise was to deliver the same
Mm.
price, only that I could deliver. My then
Mhm.
partner had a pickup truck, so I had convinced him if I can get many orders, we can look for a day for delivery where you help me to deliver. So my catch was, I'll do the delivery for you. The price is the same, but I'm doing the delivery.
Mm.
And it actually worked. I got
Mhm.
clients,
Mhm.
but guess what happened?
What?
Motherhood happens, and house girls and nanny issues, and they started disappearing on me. My daughter was alone. So at the end of it all, it was like, is this job really worth it over my daughter?
Mm. Mhm.
Dropped the whole business and the inconsistency. Sometimes you're supposed to deliver, but then it's so hard to leave my daughter with somebody that I don't trust yet, like the nanny issues. So I had to drop
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
idea. Yeah,
Mhm.
so I dropped the idea, and I decided to stay at home with my daughter again until I was comfortable with the nannies that I was bringing home.
Mhm.
That's why it's so hard. I normally say that women are disadvantaged in terms of how we are, where we are placed as in life, because being the nurturing way that we are and having to carry these babies in our backs, it's such a huge setback. I normally feel like if there was a man who was given the same who was at the same spot where I was, and he was doing that right now, he'd be very in a very nice place. He would have continued with the
Mhm.
business with no hiccups. But then being a woman, you're not just a business woman, you're also a mom. So I had to remember
Mhm.
that. So I went
Mhm.
back. Years later on, I decided to go work with my partner at his work. At least there was more flexible in terms of I could go home, I could leave for work whenever I felt like, and whenever the nannies disappoint me, I could always stay home with the kids. Yeah,
Mm.
that
Mhm.
was what the lessons that I took about business and
Mhm.
entrepreneurship. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, wow. That's really awesome for you to think that you did all that when you were so young. That's really
Yeah.
awesome. And then
Mhm.
also, yeah, that's just a reality of our lives that women, at the end of the day, when we have our children, the women are the ones who take the most time off from work. And then women are the ones who end up, when the child is sick, most of the time, the man will not take the day off, but the woman will take the day off. We miss out on the most number of days at work. We miss out on the most number of days when it comes to our pay, because that will cut short our pay. And then we also miss out on opportunities even for when it comes to like maybe getting a raise, getting promotions and all that, because sometimes you can look at how that promotion will affect your family life, and you decide that, you know what, I won't take that promotion because I might never even get to see my kids, or I might never do this with my kids. And so it's really a challenging place for women to be, but we've also come from a long way from where we used to just be, you can only be at home, your work is just to take care of the children, to getting to the place now where we can be able to have businesses, we can be able to we can find jobs, women, or we can do, different things that have allowed us to become even more financially independent. So that's really good to see. I just want to go ahead and acknowledge Pastor Wairimo Kimani, who's here. And then I'd also seen Grace Njuguna. I want to just acknowledge you, and several other people who I know have logged in from our online business class. I do see several people there also. And so when it comes to when it comes to raising children, yeah, that can be very tricky, because that's just the reality of our lives. So we have to juggle a lot of things. But one of the things that I thank God about is that we also have the ability to multitask more than men. So we are able to actually do certain things and still be able to, and still be able to do our business and whatever we need to do. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And so we want to go to the next session, where we'll just talk a little bit about because I know that you're right now. When I met you, I met you through the coaching classes where you are a relationship toxic relationship coach. What do we call? Let me give it the right name. What is the title?
It's a toxic relationship coach.
Okay, toxic relationship coach. And
Mhm.
so when we that's that in itself, just it's like eye catching, like what you mean somebody there's a coach for that? So
Mhm.
and so I wanted you to at least let people know a little bit about that. What does a toxic relationship coach do? Like what is that?
Okay, so a toxic relationship coach, as a toxic relationship coach, what I do is to help women. And I know have been asked a lot, why women only, and not men?
Mm-hmm.
I specifically deal with women because I feel that I can relate more with them. So I can tell whenever whatever they are going through, I can be able to relate with it. And like for a man, because I know the experiences of a man and a woman are totally different. How a man would behave towards something is different from how a woman would relate to it. And being a coach means that you're one step ahead from the person that you're coaching. So I'm one step ahead from a woman in terms of I've been there before, and coaching is all about working with somebody from, first of all, experience based.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more of my experience and what I went through. And toxic, as I don't know, I think most from what most of us know is something unhealthy. So when I specify that it's toxic, it's because I deal with the unhealthy ones. If you're in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship and you start asking your questions like, am I really, is whatever happening normal? Am I in a, what kind of a relationship? What is going on? So I'm there to tell you, to ask you, and to help you identify. It's not just about you disagreeing today, tomorrow you're okay. There is more to toxicity than just disagreements. It's mostly about abuse. The abusers are from an abusive person, it's from narcissists, it's psychopaths, and all the other social misfits.
Mm-hmm.
So I come in to help women who are dealing with such people because I dealt with one, and I help you to distinguish the difference because there's a huge difference between it. We have nowadays we have normalized so much talking about narcissists and classifying everybody who is unhealthy as a narcissist. Yes, yet there is a difference. There's a
Yeah.
huge difference between a narcissist and an abuser. People can either be abusive, they can be, but saying they're all toxic is the umbrella of it all. It's the
Mm-hmm.
unhealthy. Yeah, so that is basically what I'm all about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the prophet of doom in relationships. Yeah.
You're that is so funny.
Terror of bad news.
At least you have a prophet somewhere.
Yeah,
Since
because this
everybody's
is,
trying to be a prophet, you got to be a prophet somewhere. But that's
yeah.
it's
Mhm.
funny, but it's so important for because we have to be able to identify what's healthy, what's unhealthy, what's toxic
That's true.
for us, and even sometimes
Mhm.
not even for you, like to say that this person is toxic, but also to look within
Mhm.
and say maybe I am the toxic one. And that is so important because
Exactly.
sometimes we are so focused on the outside person, looking at the other person who's doing so many different things, that we are not thinking that maybe
Mhm.
I'm the toxic one. Maybe it's my upbringing that has caused me to get to this space where I'm at right now. And so different things like
Very
that. And so even with our program, the Discover Your Superpower program, we focus a lot on just making sure that you truly understand you. Because when you understand you, you'll discover actually some of the things we were blaming other people. We were actually the reason why those we were actually the culprits in that, or we were the ones who had a different perspective of ourselves, or we didn't clearly understand ourselves. Because when we don't understand ourselves, sometimes we might be blaming people for things that are actually us who are doing those things. So I'm really excited to hear. I'm really excited about your program, and I'm excited to see even how you help women. And then I even love like the things that you post. So guys, if you're not already following Jacinta, make sure you follow her on Facebook, and I'll put her post there so that you can be able to follow her on Facebook and get to even learn more about what she's doing and learn more about what she teaches and all that. And so the next thing I want us to talk about is also about the upcoming pageant. And guys, I hope you when you check on the I posted the link there for the pageant. I think it's there, but if it's not there, I'll be able to add it. So tell us a little bit about that, because I know one of the people that you admire is
Tyra
you,
Banks.
Tara Banks. And so tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about, yeah, because when I saw you, when you said that's the person you admire, and then I saw you in this pageant, just watching you in the picture, I was like, oh my God, she is just walking. You're walking in, you're walking in your path. Let's just put it that way. And so
Yes.
what made you admire her, Tyra Banks, and then we'll talk about the pageant.
So I think I should first start with first of all the three reasons. Can I first start with that? Like, why am I
Yeah.
doing this
Yes.
pageant thing?
Yes.
So I think I'm doing this for three reasons, and the number one reason actually was to make what I do, my business of women, to be. I just need a bigger platform, a bigger audience, because I feel that what I'm talking about is not something that many people talk about. We are taught about healthy relationships and how to preserve them and how to stick in marriages and relationships, but nobody really talks about what happens when you're in one that's not working
Mm-hmm.
and you no longer want to stick by, because the issue is not everybody wants is comfortable with being in a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
Something is not working for you, but then you're always taught, just hold on, continue, do this for your children and all that. I talk about the dangers it has to you and to your children. So I felt like this is something that so many women, especially now with the pressures of so many things in life, we have the pandemics, the high cost of living, the pressures of life are just way too many. And that's why so many deaths are there. Like, I know it's not just a problem in my country, it's a global thing.
Yes.
So that was my first reason why I wanted this, because I want to reach a larger audience. I feel that most women should hear this. I get criticized by so many people, church elders and other, mostly men, actually, the people who will be like, why you're telling our women to get out of relationships and go where? And to me, it normally feels like it's because these people are triggered. They wouldn't want their wives or somebody else to see it. Because why would you be worried if your wife is reading my posts? And do you feel that he's going to talk to her? Why would you be worried if you're treating her very well and you're not doing anything that I'm talking about?
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
the second point was because I'm a mom. I have two daughters, and like I told you in our class, my daughter, what I wanted as a kid, there was, I don't know, people who grew up in my same years. In the 90s, we used to have this Tyra Banks show. Not whether it was in the 90s or I think early 2000s in Nairobi, in Kenya. I don't know whether everybody watched it, but it was the Tyra Banks show. And remember how I used to watch her and I used to just enjoy it. And in my head, I just thought one day I used to see the Miss Kenya shows, pageants, and I was like, one day I'd want to be there. So it's more about inspiring my children. You have a dream, you can go for it. It doesn't matter the age, it doesn't matter whatever you're going through, whatever happens in between here, you can always go after your dream. And they are better be sure, especially my daughters, the youngest one and the oldest ones. They know that
Mm-hmm.
they'll always have my support. I don't care what they ever decide to do, I'm going to support them fully. And thirdly, I want to do this for that childhood dream, to be to be part of all that action that I used to see. I used to see how Tyra Banks would tell them how to pose, how self-confidence, do this, do that. So yeah, it's still another reason. So yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
is it. Yes.
Oh, that is so nice. You've actually talked about some really, really important things that I just want. I hope everyone got that. And so because yeah, one of the things that you said is to have a bigger audience so that you can bring an awareness. And that's really powerful. Even one of the things that even the things I do right now, even having you come to the show, one it's in line with the things that I do. When I talk about discovering your superpower when it comes to women, it is very, very important for us to be able to empower the woman. And then when it comes to talking about toxic relationships, or how like sometimes you might need to leave that relationship, it's something that a lot of people don't talk about. And even I know that people have been condemned even in the church and everything. And just to yesterday we saw I don't know if you guys saw that, but I saw a post and also got some WhatsApp messages in different women's groups talking about this lady who was killed yesterday. And she was killed by her husband. He stabbed her, I think, 4 times, and she was rushed to the hospital. She didn't make it and she died. This is so common, and we've like we as women have to talk about this. We have to be able to let people know that you don't have to stay in a relationship where the only way you'll be sent back home is in a body bag. You If something is toxic, if something is unhealthy, you have to be able to walk away from that and not feel like you're condemned by the world. Because I know a lot of times women feel like, especially when it comes to women in the church, you can be in a situation where you're being abused, you're being mistreated, but people will stay because they're afraid of what people will say. They're also afraid of what people in the church will say. And so we have to be able to educate. Even with the church, we have to be able to educate so that people know that it's okay to walk away, it's okay to stay. You'd rather have your sound mind by yourself than to be somewhere where you're losing your mind, where you're constantly living in fear, you're walking on eggshells because you don't know when the next explosion is going to take place in your house, or even your children constantly living in fear. Because sometimes we think that staying in that relationship, I'm staying because of the children, but the damage that's caused on the children cannot even be described. They've been able to prove that scientifically. They've been able to prove that, because if you don't walk away and you just keep your children in that atmosphere, like the kids, you can find kids having all kinds of anxieties. They'll have all kinds of fears, all kinds of different things going on. And then the worst thing is, they might grow up and replicate exactly what they went through. Because watching us going through these different things, sometimes it's just we are just replicating what was shown before us. And so I really like the fact that you're taking a stand to go through this pageant and to go through this so that you can be able to bring an awareness to these issues going on. So I have a lot of people who are chiming in. So we have Kafresh, she says, hi ladies. I have Fancy, she says that yes, Miss Universe, so proud of you taking that step forward. We have Prince B saying amen. We have Lynette says we have to give the voice to the voiceless, and we ladies need to support each other. That is really, really true. Because I think sometimes even our worst enemies could be women. Because sometimes you might leave, and then women will talk about you. They'll say how you're not committed. They'll say how you are a bad wife. How can you walk away? And then also society has glorified that when a woman stays and suffers, then she's a good wife. And that is not true. Why should you be considered a good wife because you stayed and suffered? Why can't they just treat you well so that you can be and everybody, if you're treated well, you will be a good wife. And a lot of times they say you're not a good wife because you've refused to allow them to mistreat you. You've created boundaries. And so when they feel like that they cannot go over your boundaries, sometimes that's when people say that you are such a bad person, you're such a bad wife. But it's better for people to talk about you, say all those kind of things while you still have your life and you still have your sound mind. Because the most important thing you need in life is your mind. If you don't have your mind, even if you look amazing and you don't have your mind, you cannot be able to do stuff for your children. You cannot be able to do anything for yourself. So save your mind. Don't allow yourself to be in a place where you can't, where you're losing your mind. So I it's on fire here. So the Kafresh said the church and religious bypassing as one praise louder so is so damaging, and we need to know that women need to walk away. That's really powerful. And then Lynette also says, don't get me started with the children. I know. And Lynette is a coach also. She's in the UK. So
Yeah.
she is a divorce coach, and yes, the children really, really get affected. Other than just watching their mom being mistreated or things like that, the children also get affected greatly. So thank you so much for sharing that. And so for you, what made you transition even from being, because you were so young, so there are so many things that you went through or you were in that you didn't even know what you didn't even know what to expect, right? And
Yeah.
then now you find yourself in this situation where all this stuff was going on. So what was the thing that made you actually decide that this is it? This, I will not go through this again.
Actually, the crazy thing is that most people stay because of their children. I left because of my children. Like you've
Mm,
said, it's it's something that no parent should ever want to see their children going through. If you actually say that you love your children, you should have the courage to make these decisions for them because they will never make them for you. I've spoken to a few people on my DMs, and some are even men. And I've heard how most of them who came from abusive families will be telling me their stories of how they had wished that their moms would have walked out. Your kid will never tell you, Mom, leave dad, because they always pray that you'll always be together. But it's your choice. It's yours, their mothers. It's your choice that you need to make for them. And sadly enough, we damage them more by staying than actually by leaving.
mm,
To bring up an upright kid, you just need one stable parent. So, what happens in a case of an abusive kind of relationship? First of all, the abuser, I normally say no abusive person can ever be a good parent. Why? You hear so many people saying, "Oh, he's a good dad. Oh, she's a good mom," but they're abusive people. They're abusive towards their partners. This is the
mm,
person who gave life to your children. How do you claim to love your children, but you're doing some things to their mom, because this is, or to their dad, and this is the person that they love and treasure most in their lives? It just
mhm,
doesn't make sense in any way. And what happens is that, in terms of you're the victim, you remain harbored by bitterness. You're always angry. You're depressed. You always wallow in your agony and in your thoughts. You're always buried in there. You never even have time for these children. And
mhm,
what happens when you're fighting or you're arguing in front of these children and they actually see you? You're two people who are supposed to love and protect these children. So, what happens in that case? Normally, what happens is, I'll give an example of a son who is in that relationship. It's either this son becomes the abuser when they grow up, or two, they become the victim. So
mhm,
have you actually helped them, or have you even damaged them worse? So normally feel like when you say you're staying for your children, you're lying to yourself. You're actually staying there for other, most of the time you're staying there for other things. Like
mhm,
one, you have traumas, you have unhealed childhoods, childhood attachments and all those things which are making you want to cling to this person. Or two, you're afraid that, and you're maybe financially dependent on them, and or you don't want to leave your comfort zone. Your children are, that is just an excuse, because you see, for me, I used to see, and honestly, I used to feel so guilty inside me. I used to ask myself, how could I bring two little adorable angels into this world only to make them pay for a mistake that they never committed? Imagine your son or your daughter is only 5 or 10 years old in this world, and they're already having to handle all these things, because this is your battle, it is your choice, it is your decision. You're the one who decided to be in this relationship. So why are you making other people pay for it? And what
Mm,
happens when they grow up and they also have issues in their own relationships? So you're making them start. This is the age where children shouldn't have to worry about anything apart from assignments and
mhm,
homeworks and things like, where are we going for holiday, or I don't have friends, such things. But now you're even making them worry about, will my mom still be alive? Because I know that is what happens in the case of most children who have seen their parents being abused. They always worry about their parents, and especially the moms. They worry, are they going to, is my father going to kill my mom? Such things. They
mhm,
don't even perform well in school. So my children were the number one reason why I opted to walk out. And the crazy thing is that in an African setting, you're told that the more number of children you have, that actually you're supposed to get children to tie you down in that marriage. But for me,
mm,
I didn't care whether I have 3 or 5 or 10. I still
mhm,
would have decided enough is enough. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, and that is so powerful. It takes a lot of courage. So I want to, like, even if any woman who's in that situation right now, you're in a situation where you don't even know what to do. One of the things I know is that it takes a lot of courage, because you're not only you're losing a livelihood of what you used to have, and that also, and like when it comes to our African setting, traditions, you're going against what's considered normal, what's considered the right way of doing things. So walking away will cost you a lot. And so a lot of times people don't have the courage to do it because they're just thinking of all the other things that they're going to lose, especially when it comes to you're going to lose your, like, the society, your support system, because that's something people are afraid of losing, because maybe you've lived this life where you're connected to all these different people. And unfortunately, when stuff like that happens, people choose. They're like, you know what, me, I'm on team so and so, me, I'm on team so and so. So you end up losing. And sometimes people are not ready for that because they're not grounded already in who they are. They don't know their own superpower. So they feel like they need that whole community in order for them to stand. But I want to encourage you that if you're in that situation, you can actually build a new community. You can build a new community when you get healthy. You can build a healthy community, a community that accepts you for who you are, a community that can be able to help you in your journey. And so you don't have to be afraid to feel like you have to stay somewhere until you die, or until someone kills you, or you're hospitalized, and or things like that, for you to even have to make that decision. Because I know sometimes when people are told that, at, and I've had this, so many people being told that at least the person comes home to you, even if they're out there messing around, or at least that person pays the bills. So you don't need to be complaining, or you need to be more appreciative and things like that. And that's why I tell women, you have to know who you are. You have to truly, truly take time to learn about you and know who you are, and know that you're put here on earth for an assignment. And even and God put something in you that can provide for you without you needing someone else to be the provider for you. And so but you have to take the time. That's why we encourage you, take all these different classes, take these coaching lessons and all that, to discover your superpower, because you are created for an assignment. And I give people this graphic explanation. When you before you are conceived in your mother's womb, you were just the egg was there, and there are all millions of sperms, and one sperm made it. And that sperm, when it made it, you were conceived. So you are starting as a winner because you won, and you won that little journey, and now that's why you're here. So if you're ever discouraged or thinking that you're a failure, thinking you can't make it, just remember you started your journey as a winner. And because you started your journey as a winner, just know winning is part of your DNA. And so even if your circumstances look different, your circumstances look like they're just against you or whatever, just know somehow there's a way out, but you have to start asking for help. You have to start maybe going for coaching, going for counseling, so you can be able to find out who you are. And then you can be able to strengthen yourself and be able to make decisions based on knowledge and not just based on how you feel. So this is really, really awesome. Thank you so much for sharing part of your story with us. And so if you could just let the viewers know, because I know this is a lot of people, they're on their lunch break, if you could let the viewers know, how can they tell them when is the pageant and when do they need to vote and all that kind of stuff.
So the pageant is on 12th of December. That is in approximately 13 days to go. I always post a link on my Facebook page. For anyone who doesn't follow me, I think, Amy, you can help me with that. You post a
Yes, I
link
will
of my
post.
profile. Yeah, you can see me, you can post, you can vote. Voting actually is ongoing every single day until the last day, the voting day, the day of the pageant. So yeah, and for those who have been voting, because I see most of them are your followers and your friends, I'm very grateful and thank you very much even for having me. And yeah, let's continue praying for each other and taking risks and mostly investing in ourselves. That's one thing that I will never ever regret doing. That's actually the only thing that has brought me to this space in my life where I am right now. And this is like the best place of where I've ever been in my entire life. Peace is, to people who maybe have it or don't think much about it, it's one thing that is such a great thing to have, especially when you've never known peace. It's amazing to be where I am, and yeah, I'm open to helping other women also get to this point, because my journey has, I didn't just wake up one morning and I was like, fine, I'm done. It's something that took time. It actually took me 5 years to be where I am. So what I do is I help other women to maybe a shortcut where I did the mistakes, where I took the long way. I now know a shorter path to get to this point. And yeah, thank you very much, Amy.
Yes. And guys, so the link is in my, like, in this Facebook live. I already posted that link. So make sure you click on that link and you vote. You can vote. Make sure you share it with other people so they can vote for Jacinta, and just to be able to see their work that you've been able to do. You truly exemplify what I call in the show we call it, you've really been able to break limitations. And so, like, with this breaking limitations show, we focus on, we highlight people who've been able to break limitations, come out from situations where people thought maybe they would never come out of, or they've been able to overcome great obstacles. And so it's so good to see what God is doing in your life. So good to see all the growth and the progress, and even to see how you started so young, but you didn't limit yourself to feel as though this is the end of my life. So thank you so much for just sharing your story. And so, guys, I encourage you, go out there and vote. So I see we have Maureen has logged in. We have Ruth. She said she'll definitely be voting. Lynette says best wishes, Jacinta, and thank you so much, Joyce, for the
Thank you.
platform. Yes, and so many other people who have logged in. And so happy, Andrew. It's so good to see you. And so yeah, so guys, I really, really encourage you, make sure that you go out and vote. And then also, if you're not following us already, make sure you're following us on Facebook, follow Jacinta, and I'll also put her information there. Make sure you're following Jacinta on Facebook, and then also make sure that you follow me on my Facebook page, and then also be sure to subscribe on the YouTube channel. And I will put all that information there so you can be able to follow us, and then you'll be able to be empowered and even hear more from the different people that I bring on the show, who are able to share their stories, and so you can be able to get some nuggets here and there in order to be able to discover your own superpower. And then I also have the Discover Your Superpower class that's coming. We're gonna have the new cohort. It's gonna start in January. So if you want to sign up for that, this is the time to do so, because it's gonna we have limited space. So if you want to join, it's an 8-week class. I want to encourage you to join and to sign up, and then I'll be able to send you all the information on what it's going to be about, because at the end of the day, you have to invest in you, because you are the greatest asset in your life. And you have to grow you, because the more you grow, the more you'll be able to increase your platform. You'll be able to attract different. And so you need to discover who you are. You need to understand you, and then you'll be able to grow. And even Jacinta is in my class. You want to tell people a little bit about my class?
Yeah, definitely. I'm your number one student. And I just love the community itself. I've also gotten to interact with very wonderful people, Akina Lydia, Diana. I'm so grateful for everything and the diversity. It has people from all over the globe, and the lessons. Yeah, it's discovering my superpower. That is one of the main things that I'm after right now. So yeah,
Yes.
like I said, anyone who wants to go anywhere, and that's free advice, something that I wish somebody would have told me before. Don't even go pay for a PhD or master's. Do the coaching classes. Those ones are out of experience. It's normally said that success leaves some evidence behind.
Yes.
Yeah, so I look at you, Joyce, I see you, and I'm like, I'd want to know how you go where you are, and you're sharing with me how you discovered your superpower. So I'm definitely waiting to also see the fullness of my power through this
Yes.
class. Yeah.
Wow. Yes, so that is really, really awesome. So, guys, I just want to thank you so much for staying with us for this hour and just having your lunch with us. And we encourage you, make sure, guys, you are following Jacinta. So she is, and I will post some more information. Go ahead and check out this Jacinta, follow her, and then also make sure that you're following us or following me on Facebook, and also you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can be able to watch this session again if you want to, and you can also be able to share it with your friends and family so they can be able to also watch it. So guys, thank you so much, and it's just been so wonderful having you. And so we're gonna have just let me see if I can even do this. Yeah, so thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. It's been wonderful, and we just want to thank you so much for participating, and we'll see you in the next session that we are going to have. And thank you so much. So Jacinta, don't log off. Give me 1 second. I'm just trying to see. You know, when you have to be technology. When you have to be tech, and you also have to be to do everything, but it's all good. We are always learning and just discovering. We're always discovering our superpower.
New,
So,
yeah.
oh, okay, I found this. So I just wanted to. Okay, guys, so I see a few people are logging in now. Guys, Jen Mukami, our coach, is she logged in. So we are just logging out, but thank you so much for everything. Thank you for teaching us. Thank you for sharing your life and everything. And so, guys, make sure you're voting for Jacinta, and we're gonna see you back. We'll see you guys soon. Have a wonderful time. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Breaking Limitations Show with our host, Joyce Marendes. We are here to empower, equip, and promote. Let us discover your superpower.
This is a call to all women entrepreneurs. Women in Business Community Network is a one-stop shop for female entrepreneurs in Kenya. Our goal is to empower communities and eradicate poverty. With a membership of 1.2 million members across the country, we engage and aspire to achieve issues around challenges on women enterprises. We thrive on 5 pillars: mentorship and capacity building, financial literacy and investment, market linkages and partnerships, networking, referrals and events, policy and advocacy. For more details, visit us on www.wibkenya.org or simply call us on 0751 900 900. Women in Business Network, empowering communities, eradicate poverty.
Represent your commitment to breaking limitations by visiting breakinglimitationsnow.com to purchase your Breaking Limitations t-shirt, tank top, or hoodie today. Represent your commitment to breaking limitations by visiting breakinglimitationsnow.com to purchase your Breaking Limitations t-shirt, tank top, or hoodie today. What limitation are you holding on to? The Breaking Limitations Mindset Journal has 63 daily quotes and scriptures that will help you break every limitation in your life. Get your copy today.